So, hello guys. Good afternoon in here because in here is almost 12 o'clock. I know that in there is almost 10, right?
Yeah.
So, I will start to share screen. So, um, I will start the discussion from me, the leader. Actually, same with the things that we talked about before. I don't really get the materials, but I will try to uh, do my role. So, what are the main points in the text? The main points in the text it is about the correlation research, which are from the video explain about looking for variables that seems to interact with each other, so that when you can see one changing, you have an idea how other will this help us to know if it's only the correlation or the quantity on that, the quality I mean. And then what will what we will discuss today, we will discuss um, about our opinion, each of opinion, and also each role opinions and thought based on the text. After that, discuss question by the inspector and discuss the unique phenomenon dealing with the materials. So how do I motivate my friends actually in when we do the uh, discussion in the group? I always uh, give you a reminder to do that even though some of us didn't really get the materials, but I hope that we can through this discussion, right guys? Okay, so let's jump to the inspector. Okay, time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Vinca. I will share my work. Could you please let me share my screen, Vinca?
Yes, okay, wait.
Okay, thank you. Wait. Uh, Wait a minute, guys. Bentar. Okay. Okay, guys. So today I will be an inspector for correctional research, and here's are the things that I found according to the text, the PDF, and also other. I are I list some of the things that are important in according to uh, understand about the material itself. So correlational research itself is looking for variables that seems to interact with each other, so that when you ring two variables and observing we are they are just correlated, or they have a causal effect towards each other. And the second thing is correlation does not imply causation, which means that uh, there are in some cases there are some other variables that are affecting between the two variables, so they are connecting with each other because of these third variables or other variables, something like that. It's quite complicated if we are not using other sources. And then correlation measures relationship between two variables or event. The goals of research is to identify relationship, and then to make a sophisticated statistical technique, which are explained in the PDF, that are making the diagram, the scatter diagram, and then decision making. And the last thing is actuarial prediction. The next thing is the limitation of using correlation is that it cannot imply causation, similar with the previous one. And then the correlation coefficient is defined by R, and it can imply from plus 1.0 to minus 1.0. Positive correlation means that variable will rise and fall together, like in the example that we have discussed before with Ms. Ruli. For the example, if we are study hard, then the variables that is we are more understand about the materials. And then the negative correlation means that the variables have reciprocal or contradiction relationship opposite. So vice versa with the positive correlation. And these things are considered the key issues and essential because it gives a summary and understanding of what correlational research is. And it also explains the component and definition so that it is essential to be knowledgeable of these things. And the second one is, how does the examples in the text help explain the issues? The examples in the text help explain the issues by explaining how we read the diagram or the scatter diagram, and then defining each of these components, and also how to read and utilize the diagram, I think. And then the last thing is critical question. So in the critical question, would you do you want to answer it right now or in the end of the discussion, guys? Because I think it's uh, takes a lot of time to discuss. What
I
about you
think it
guys?
is better to do in the last discussion.
Okay, so I will share my screen later. So I think it's going to the next presenter, and I will share later. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so for the next presenter, time is yours.
Mika. Okay, guys. Wait, yeah. I will share my screen. Wait, you guys. Can you see my screen or belum?
Not yet.
Okay. How about now?
Yes.
Sorry, guys. Actually, I didn't finish this yet, but I will finish it later. Okay. Tenang. So yeah, from the PDF, I find the word that means like correlational research describes a relationship between variables. Nah, in my onward, I can define it like this correlational research is used to describe the relationship between existing variables. Nah, jadi correlational research ini digunakan untuk menggambarkan antara variabel-variabel yang ada. And then scatter diagram or scatter plot is a tool in statistics to determine potential correlation between variables. In onward, a scatter plot is a statistical tool used to determine the potential correlation between variables. Nah, jadi if we want to determine the potential correlation between variable, jadi kalau kita pengen mengkorelasikan variabel-variabel yang kita punya, kita bisa menggunakan a statistical tool seperti scatter diagram atau scatter plot gitu. And then correlational research identifies the extent of relationship between variable. In onward, the correlation coefficient is used to find the existing relationship between variables. Kayaknya ini sama yang di atas. Gunanya itu untuk menyambungkan atau menghubungkan variabel-variabel yang kita punya. And then the last is correlation coefficient is used to find relationship between variables. Yeah, it's same, guys. That's it. I will do it later. Thank you.
Okay, so the last one is connector. Time is yours, Naomi.
Okay, thank you, Vinca. So for the connector, there are 3 questions. The first question is, what other sources, 1 or 2, are relevant with the text and how are they relevant? So actually, I found 3 sources. Two of them are videos and one of them is like website. So actually, three this there these 3 sources is saling melengkapi because the video is explain about how we read and how we make about diagram uh, or chart, and also in the website is also explain about what is correlation research and how we read the data, something like that. And then the second question is what image will I use? So I will attach the video, the first one entitled What is Correlation Analysis? It's about 10 minutes. And the second one is Correlation and Regressions, concepts with illustrative examples. So the video is about 9 minutes. So both video is more deep explain about correlation research. So for the first video, maybe it's a focus on how we make the diagram, and the second one is focused on what is that? How we read the data and the pengertian and how we collect data. And the last question is, how can I help my friends to understand the text better through image? Actually, the video, I think when I show the video to my friends, they will get easier to understand the topic that we discuss. Also, the video is, I think, a little bit attractive, but it is very useful for us if we still confused about the theory of correlation research. I think that's all from Connector. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Naomi. So, Kidung, can you continue the discussion from Inspector?
Okay, let me share my screen again. Okay, did you see my screen? Okay, guys, so there are 3 critical questions that I come up this morning because it is so hard for me to determine what kind of question that is really appropriate to be asked in this discussion, guys, because personally, honestly, I also still confused about the material itself, but I just come up with this question. So this question is actually pretty hard if you did not see the videos in the YouTube about the explanation of this what is it, correlational research. So in the first one, when we are doing correlational research, we compare 2 variables and observe on how they connected with each other, right? And how could we determine that those 2 variables have a causational relation? Apa ya istilahnya? Timbal balik effect. And what if they are just correlated but not connected? Do you guys understand the difference between correlated and connected? How about your opinion, guys? Could you give opinion about this question?
First of all, I just want to know about the correlated and connected. Yeah, right. So in my opinion, if correlated means that it have meaning inside that, but when it only connected, it is only like maybe for the example, we have materials in this week, and after that we have the materials in next week. That is have a connection because it have the continuing materials, for the example, something like that.
I think it's sort of true. For the example, I will give you some example in my understanding. So, what is the difference between correlated and connected is, for example, we have two assignment. We have a presentation of micro teaching, and we have an assignment of presenting research method. And then another variable is getting stressed. So I want to so those research method and micro teaching are correlated. So those are things that are correlated but did not share the same timbal balik. The things that make them timbal balik or causational is the stress. So the stress is what connected. Aduh, susah yang jelasin ya. The stress is what makes them are connected. Do you understand, guys?
Simply in Indonesia.
Is it okay if I explain in Indonesia?
I think it is better for us to understand.
Jadi gini, misalnya ada variabel pertama, ada hal yang membuat kita menjadi stres. Lalu variabel kedua, presentasi micro teaching. Variabel ketiga, presentasi research method. Nah, kedua variabel ini sama-sama positif, have a positive relation because they are correlated and they're correlated. So these are two things that are make the students stress. They are correlated, but what connected those two are the stress. Gimana ya jelasin ini, susah ya?
Maybe I will give some example.
Yeah.
But maybe it out of the context. Like take example, we have a micro teaching class, right? Vinca and Ami. So, like Ms. Nani said, ice breaking is part of opening session, and ice breaking is important for us to do it, maybe to opening the class. But sometimes ice breaking and opening is correlated, berhubungan, to boost your students. But if your ice breaking is not related to material that you will teach, that's not connected. Ice breaking and opening session, in the opening session is correlated, but it's not connected to what material do you want to teach, something like that.
Yeah, something
You
like
get the
that.
idea?
So connected means have a causal apa sih causal hubungan timbal balik kalau connected. Tapi kalau correlated is just related, but it doesn't mean that you have the same correlation. Gimana sih ya, gitulah ya. It doesn't mean that if one goes up then one goes up, something like that, right?
Okay. Get it.
Okay. It's quite hard to explain, guys. I'm sorry. Thank you, Naomi, for helping me. And then, number 2, how could we determine which variable affect which? And could there be a misconception or a problem if the direction of the correlation is wrong or not wrong, or not at the right direction? Do you get what I mean, guys? So for example, like this, smoking, which is the right direction? People smoking make lung cancer, or lung cancer make people smoking, which is the right direction.
Smoking
Yeah,
first.
so that is what I mean. Ya itu ya berarti ya jawabannya itu ya. So the point that I want to make is that direction in the diagram or the correlational what is it? Correlational study is important because sometimes if we do not know about which is the right direction, it could make us misconcept about the correlation itself. For like the previous example, smoking cause lung cancer, not lung cancer cause people to smoke, right? Just
Is it
something like that. So,
right? Is it
so
like
what is it,
is it
Vinca?
like is it like a correct step, something like that?
Correct direction of the connection. Jadi merokok menyebabkan kanker paru-paru, bukan kanker rokok, right? Jadi bukan karena kita mengalami kanker paru-paru terus orang jadi merokok, tapi orang merokok menyebabkan kanker paru-paru gitu loh. Jadi the direction of the variables, is what determine is the correlational is connected or not, something like that. So I'm just explaining the answer, guys. So, okay, so the next question is, could there be a negative and positive correlation in the same diagram? So this is the thing that I pondering around, guys. So what is your opinion about this question? Is it possible to have two correlation, negative and positive correlation in the same diagram? There's no right and wrong, guys, because I do not know the answer also.
I think it can be.
Why, Vin? Why it can be?
For the example, I take from the Naomi's example, like ice breaking and introduction. Actually, even though we don't have the connection with the materials, but the ice breaking help students to cheer up and feel the something like positive vibes, or engage the spirit when we learn something. It is have the positive, negative, and the positive side. It still helps students to engage their intention in learning, but in negative side, it has no correlation with the materials that we are going to learn, something like that, I think.
Okay. Thank you, Vinga. Is there any opinion, guys, about this question?
From me, I think it's no. But it is possible if there are two data in one diagram, but maybe we can take the most the most data, and what we want to conclude in that data, and what we want to analyze. So if we want to analyze positive, we just take a look the positive one. Even though in the collective data there are one or two data that show kebalikannya, I think it's kind of apa ya, sedikit kayak error data gitu tuh loh. Gitu. Tapi I think one diagram menurutku nggak.
So we should my question is, so we should put it in a different diagram or the same diagram?
Yes, if you
That's
want
Different diagram.
the same or the other?
Different.
Different, right?
Mhm.
Because if we are looking at the diagram model, I think it will be maybe difficult, right? If we don't have a separate diagram to describe which is the positive and which is the negative, right?
Okay, I get it.
Yeah. So thanks for your opinion. I really enlightened and I really like your answer, guys. And thank you. And I'm sorry if the what is it? The question is quite hard to understand if you don't really understand deeply about the what is it, correlational. Why is it so hard to spell, guys? To correlational research. Okay, yeah. Thank you guys for your participation, and Vinca will take over again. Thank you.
Okay, Kidung, can you stop sharing? Okay, okay, guys, thank you for discussion. Actually, it is refreshing that a little bit step by step we get it, what the things that we've discussed today. So, what do you think, guys? Is it hard, quite hard to understand, right?
Yes,
yes,
it's hard.
Do you think that this kind of discussion will be used in our real life?
in thesis.
Yes.
Ah,
Just thesis.
I just wonder we are in the 6th semester right now. So okay, thank you for discussion. I will stop sharing, Ra. Okay,
Okay.
stop recording. I mean.